Emmerdale airs major update on Billy Fletcher amid coma storyline, major exit, and sad death in early ITVX release. Warning, contains spoilers for Wednesday's episode of Emmerdale, which airs at 8 p.m. on ITV1 or can be streamed now on ITVX. The residents of the Dales have been through the emotional ringer this week, with Wednesday's early ITVX release delivering a dramatic trifecta of developments, from a glimmer of hope for Billy Fletcher's recovery to the heartbreaking farewell to a beloved family pet and the emotional departure of a long-standing character. Emmerdale has left fans reeling. Billy Fletcher's coma update. Jo Tate's suspicions about fiancée Dawn Fletcher and her ex-husband Billy have reached pitch peak in today's episode. The tension has been building ever since Jo discovered that the two shared a brief kiss, and with the wedding on the horizon, he's been reluctant to accept that Dawn would betray his trust. The situation took a dark turn when, just hours after Jo found out about the kiss, Billy was brutally attacked and rushed to hospital, where he was placed into a coma. Caleb Lilligan was quick to point the finger at Jo, believing the discovery provided a clear motive for the crime. He had a quiet word with the investigating officer, which unfortunately led to Jo's arrest. However, with no evidence to support the belief that Jo was responsible, he was eventually released from custody. Billy's life has hung in the balance ever since, but today his family finally received some encouraging news. The doctor explained that it was time to bring Billy out of his coma, though they warned there would be a period of confusion afterwards. Doting Dawn kept vigil at his bedside, with Jo watching through the window, a moment that has left viewers questioning whether this signals that Dawn still harbors lingering feelings for her ex-husband. The actor who plays Billy, Jay Consul, recently spoke to The Mirror about his character's fate, revealing that it remains uncertain. "I think it's touch and go, massively for Billy," he admitted, whether he's going to pull through, whether this is it for him. "It's a big shock as well, like it's just come out of nowhere." Consul also hinted at twists ahead, promising that viewers should definitely expect some real twists and turns with how the story might pan out. Adding to the intrigue, Jo's actor Ned Porteous told The Mirror that his character is capable of both great good and great evil. "I think as a thematic tool, Jo and characters like Jo are extremely useful for the screenwriters, because we can see that he's a good dude, but he has no practice at it. He's volatile. He has a complete lack of control of his emotions." Jo under suspicion. The villagers are far from convinced of Jo's innocence. At the Woolpack, Carrie Pollard continued to voice her theory that Jo was responsible for the attack, and given his shady history, the other locals agreed. When Jo and Dawn arrived at the pub, the others made it clear he wasn't welcome, with Carrie listing his many past wrongdoings. "You know that he killed Amy. You know that he ripped another man's kidney out of his body. You know that you're marrying a monster. You've still got a chance to get away from him. Please, Dawn, for you, for the kids, take the chance." In a particularly telling scene, Dawn relayed the hospital's news to Jo, telling him Billy was being brought out of his coma tomorrow, so hopefully he wakes up and tells us exactly what happened, she declared, watching Jo's reaction closely. Jo appeared stunned and worried, offering only a nod in response. The scene has left many viewers suspecting that Dawn herself believes Jo is guilty, and that Billy's awakening could finally expose the truth. Heartbreaking farewell to Monty. Meanwhile, the Dingle family faced a devastating loss of their own. Beloved pooch Monty the dog, who has been suffering from cancer, was put to sleep in today's emotional episode. The decision came after owner Cain Dingle found the dog sleeping on his late father Zach's grave, a poignant moment that convinced him it was time to let go. Monty first appeared in Emmerdale in 2018, brought in as a companion for the late patriarch Zach Dingle after the death of the family's previous Irish wolfhound, Alfie. The diagnosis of terminal cancer came last month, and despite Cain's desperate attempts to prolong Monty's life, the dog's condition deteriorated rapidly. The family gathered to say their tearful goodbyes before Cain carried Monty to the vets alone. In a heartbreaking scene, Cain embraced Monty and wept as he bid a final farewell, delivering a tribute to his father, Zach. "Remember what I said, you are a good boy, and I know my dad was always grateful for having you, always. When you get up there, you tell him how much we love him and that we miss him loads, and you make sure he takes you for plenty of walks, just like old times." As Cain began to weep, he said, "We love you, you scruffy old thing," before confirming to Rona that Monty had passed. The scene was made even more poignant by the fact that Cain's actor, Jeff Hardley, and Rona's actress, Zoe Henry, are married in real life, though they have previously said they prefer not to work together. Viewers were moved to tears, with one posting on X, "Not Emmerdale getting me teary at midday," while another remarked, "Me and my mom have just cried our eyes out at Emmerdale. Saying goodbye to your dog is soul-destroying." The death also brought Cain's own health struggles into sharp focus as he faces his prostate cancer diagnosis and ongoing treatment. The parallel between Monty's suffering and Cain's own battle has not been lost on viewers. Noah Dingle's emotional exit. As if the grief over Monty wasn't enough, the Dingle family also faced another goodbye. Charity Dingle had been firmly against son Noah's decision to relocate to Dusseldorf for a new electrician's job, though she could see how much he was struggling to find work in Yorkshire. Noah had spent the day strolling around the village with little to do, leaving Charity guilt-ridden. Despite her reservations, she ultimately announced she'd booked his flights and wanted him to go and make a better future for himself. Rumors had been swirling that Jack Downham set to depart the ITV soap after 17 years in the role, and Wednesday's episode confirmed Noah has now left the village for his new life in Germany. The decision came after Noah initially offered to stay while his mother was going through a difficult time. However, Charity, who has been battling the trauma of a recent assault by Dr. Todd, realized how much the opportunity meant to her son and encouraged him to go. With that, Noah quickly packed his bags and Mackenzie drove him to the airport. Before leaving, Noah made one final stop to say goodbye to Cain, thanking him for being a father figure throughout his life. Just like that, Noah's time in the village came to an end. The emotional farewell saw Charity tearfully packing Noah's things and struggling with feelings of selfishness for wanting him to stay. Noah reassured his mother that this will always be home, as he held back tears. What's next for the residents of Emmerdale? With Billy set to be woken from his coma, the question on everyone's lips is, will he remember what happened and who attacked him? Joe's concerned reaction to the news suggests he may have something to hide, though the show has kept viewers guessing whether he is genuinely guilty. Meanwhile, Dawn's loyalty remains torn between her fiancé and the father of her children. Her vigil at Billy's bedside has only intensified speculation about her true feelings. The deaths of Monty and the departure of Noah mark significant changes for the Dingle family, who continue to face heartbreak and upheaval. As Cain grapples with his own health battle and the loss of his beloved dog, and Charity adjusts to life without her son, the coming weeks promise more emotional turmoil. Emmerdale continues to deliver the drama that has made it a favorite among soap fans, airing weeknights at 8 p.m. on ITV1 and streaming on ITVX.